Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This video is a response to some comments that was left on my page from one of my video pages by Look For Me 25. Excuse me. He's one of those Islam haters that want to try to prove that Islam discriminates against black people. And the first video that I made, I didn't get through even half of the material that I was using as evidence for my position. See, if you make a claim, you have to provide at least evidence for your claim. And he brought some quotes from a book of history called At-Tabari, another book of history called Ibn Ishaq, and he misquoted a hadith from Bukhari. But anyway, one thing I want to make clear is that the historians of Islam have generally recorded a lot of information on a particular subject. Pretty much everything they ran across on a particular subject, they would record it all. This doesn't mean that our scholars gave much weight to all of this information. This information would still need to be verified. So just because we may have reverence for a certain book in Islam doesn't mean that we accept everything in the book. Okay? This is what a lot of Christians, Jews, and whatnot, they don't understand about some of our books. They'll just go to a book somewhere and pull some obscure quote from someone, whoever it may be, and they think that they always think that they can use these things as an proof or an evidence to attack something about Islam. And so he makes several quotes from this book At-Tabari, but like I said, none of them are Quran or Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and not even that, they're not even quotes from the Sahaba. May Allah be pleased with all of them. The quotes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the Quran or from the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and from his companions are going to hold much weight with the Muslims. Okay? If you can't do that, at least come with the quote of a scholar of Islam. If you can't do that, then you're wasting your time. I mean, point blank, it's just a waste of time. You know, we know that not everything in Tabari is reliable. We know that not everything found in Ibn Ishaq is reliable. And there's many other books that our scholars quote from. They don't take everything from those books as being reliable. Okay, this is one problem. But anyway, let me get into my material before I run out of time. I've already wasted, I don't want to say wasted, but I've already spent almost 4 minutes, dealing with this issue of these quotes from this book At-Tabari. Anyway, getting back to Sahih Muslim, where I left off in the previous video. I'm in the book volume 4 of the English translation of Sahih Muslim, and the section of the book, the chapter on the virtues of the companions. And the one I'm going to read here is the merits of Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him. Abu Hurairah reported that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said to Bilal, Bilal, narrate to me which act at the time of morning prayer you did in Islam, for which you hope to receive good reward. For I heard during the night the sound of your steps before me in paradise. Bilal said, I did not do any act in Islam for which I hope to get any benefit, but this was that when I performed complete ablution during the night or day, I observed prayer with that purification, what Allah has ordained for me to pray. So this is in reference to the Prophet ﷺ had a dream or something. Okay, and he was in Jannah, paradise, and he was walking, and he heard footsteps ahead of him, and those were the footsteps of Bilal. Bilal was a freed slave. Bilal was belonged to one of the nobles of Quraysh in Mecca. He accepted Islam, and he was being abused by his owner because of this acceptance of Islam. And so Abu Bakr as-Siddiq saw him being tortured by his owner and bought him and freed him. Okay, and this Bilal al-Habashi, he was Ethiopian. Okay, and so the Prophet ﷺ said that he heard Bilal's footsteps ahead of him in Jannah. And I'm going to go here now to another companion, the merits of Abdullah bin Masud and that of his mother, may Allah be pleased with him. Okay, Abdullah reported that when this verse was revealed, there is no harm on persons who believe and perform good acts what they had eaten formerly when they avoided it now and they affirm their faith, up to the end of the verse. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said to me, you are amongst them. This is Abdullah bin Masud, and Abdullah bin Masud was black. Okay, Abu Musa reported that when I and my mother came from Yemen, we used to consider Ibn Masud and his mother amongst the members of the household of Allah's Messenger ﷺ because of their visiting him frequently and staying there for long periods of time. Abu Musa reported, I came to Allah's Messenger ﷺ and thought that Abdullah was amongst the members of the family or like that. Abu Ishaq reported that he heard Abu al-Ahwas say, I was along with Abu Musa and Abu Masud, and as Ibn Masud died, and one of them said to the other, do you find one like him besides him? Thereupon he said, do you say this? No one can be his rival. He was admitted to the company of the Prophet, whereas we were detained. He had been present in the company of Allah's Messenger ﷺ, whereas we had been absent. You see, he said that because Abdullah bin Masud was constantly in the Prophet's company. He used to serve the Prophet when he was a little boy. His mother brought him and gave him to the Prophet ﷺ to serve him, to do things for him. And so he spent a lot of time with the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. And his knowledge of Islam he's counted among some of the most knowledgeable of the companions. And even during the time of the Khulafa Rashideen, he went to Iraq to serve as a teacher and to help the Muslims there. And people say that the Hanafi fiqh comes from Abdullah ibn Masud, and this Abdullah ibn Masud, he was black, and so was his mother, you see. And I'm already at over 8 minutes now, and I haven't even begun. These were people, Bilal, Abdullah ibn Masud, they were black. Bilal was a former slave. Shuaib al-Rumi, he was a former slave. Salman the Persian, he was a former slave. And these were companions who had a very high status in Islam. I mean, very high status. Once Bilal, Shuaib al-Rumi, and Salman were sitting, and they had some remarks about Abu Sufyan, about the sword not reaching his neck before he accepted Islam, because he was one of the most staunch opponents of Islam. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq did not like what they said to him. And when he went and he informed the Prophet ﷺ of what happened, the Prophet told Abu Bakr as-Siddiq that those men, Bilal, Shuaib, Salman, that Allah loved them, and that perhaps Abu Bakr had offended them, and if so, he would have angered Allah. And so Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, who is well known amongst the Muslims as being the best of them, went back to those former slaves and apologized for what he had said about their remarks about Abu Sufyan. So look for me 25. I'm not nowhere near done with you yet. I mean, I'm not even halfway through my material. We're gonna get in. We're gonna get into this, and we're gonna lay it all out. And like I said, when I'm done, you should not have any doubts about what Islam teaches about people of various races and their place in Islam. Peace.